Hey guys, Zuzunatural here. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. If you are new, welcome. Have a seat. Come on in. Subscribe down there below somewhere. I make videos on clean, green beauty, skincare, health and wellness, and crystals. Today we'll be talking about crystals, which seems to be a fan fave lately. So I love talking about crystals, so I don't mind. We can do it all day if you want to. Today's video is going to be my top 5 favorite crystals for love attraction. Okay, my top 5. So if you're interested in that, and who wouldn't be interested in that? We can all use some more love, right? So stay tuned. So of course our first crystal is rose quartz. Why? Because I believe this is probably generally a favorite for love, right? It's a light to medium pink color. This one has nice color. It's one of my favorite little pieces. It's a heart. I love heart crystals. This is also rose quartz. Comes in many different shapes, sizes, just like any crystal. We've got a rose quartz palm stone. Here we've got like just a rough chunk of rose quartz. And of course it can be made into other shapes. So that's a pyramid. I love rose quartz, and I have all of these in the shop, by the way. You can get 10% off by putting in the code YouTube Love. Okay, shameless plug. Let's move on. So I love rose quartz. Rose quartz is a stone of compassion. It's a very gentle energy crystal, which is why I think it's so loved by everyone. It's about self-love. It's about compassion. And so with love, you got to have love for self first before it can extend to others, right? If you don't love yourself, you're not loving anybody else. You might think you are, but you really don't know how to do that if you're not giving it to yourself first, which is the most important person to receive love from you. Once you are giving yourself everything that you need, once you are filling yourself up with love, unconditional love, once you are feeling complete and whole, then you're able to give that to everyone else, and you can just beam it. And rose quartz will help you with that. One of the lovely things about rose quartz is it has a very peaceful and comforting energy. It's not too much, right? It's kind of like this subdued kind of love energy that we all need. So it's not like intense where it might be too much for you if you picked it up and you handled it for the first time. It just feels really, really good from the moment you see it, that beautiful kind of pink, light pink to medium pink. It feels good when you hold it and you just want more. And so that's one of the things I love about rose quartz, and I believe that's why it's probably a favorite. Also, it's readily available. You can find rose quartz pretty much anywhere, and it's affordable, so you're not going to pay too much for rose quartz. It's one of the crystals that I'm going to mention today. It's the most affordable. You can do so much with rose quartz. So you can use it in your meditations by just holding it. You can have it as a palm stone where you have this in your pocket and you hold it. Some people call it a worry stone where you rub it. You can have it in jewelry form, so you can have a bracelet or a pendant. You can do so much. It's best for rose quartz, if and with all of these love crystals, if you're going to actually have it on your person. Now, of course, you can have bigger pieces like in the home, just sitting around, just having that love, just vibing out everywhere. But you really want to have these pieces on you for them to be the most effective, especially if there's something specific you're going through. Like, it's not just like in general, I want to be more compassionate. In general, I want to be loving. So rose quartz is really good for people who have had traumatic experiences. It helps to heal that heart. It's associated with the heart chakra, as all of the crystals I'm going to speak about are associated with. So it's associated with the heart chakra, and it'll help get rid of blockages within the heart chakra and help that energy flow. So you just are a more loving and compassionate being. It helps with sexual trauma. So people who have been molested or people who have been raped, this is a really good one for them, because, or for you if that is the case, because it helps heal that trauma. A lot of yoni eggs are made out of rose quartz, and I do have yoni eggs in the shop, and it's probably one of the most popular. It is one of the most popular eggs sold is a rose quartz yoni egg. Here is a rose quartz undrilled egg, and this is like I can't keep these stocked in the shop. People love rose quartz, and it's really good for that. You know, if you have any sort of sexual trauma, if you have any sort of sexual inhibitions, right? Like, and you just need to loosen up and just be more loving and free. Rose quartz. Rose quartz is a great one for strengthening relationships. And like I said, for me personally, it always goes back to self love. If you can strengthen the love you have for yourself and the connection you have with your own spirit and soul and body, then that just radiates outward to everything else that you do. So that's where it starts with the self-love. But with rose quartz, I like to sleep with rose quartz under my pillow. So you might want to take like a flat piece like this, and you have the most sweet and loving dreams. I love it. If you want to just have some really loving, sweet, peaceful dreams, pop a little rose quartz underneath your pillow and see what happens. I think you'll enjoy it. So that's rose quartz. That's our number one. And these are in no particular order. They're just my top 5. Next up, we have Rhodonite. Rhodonite. That is Rhodonite. Oh, look at that. Isn't that nice? Also, here's a Rhodonite wand. So Rhodonite is pink with black. So the pink color can be very light to medium. Usually a lot more pink and intense than a rose quartz. The energy is a little more intense as well with this black. So not only is Rhodonite associated with the heart chakra, right? The love chakra. It's also, because it has this black, associated with the root chakra. And so not only do you have this love and this compassion and this self-love, you also have this balance and this stability from the root chakra, right? So you have a really nice combination going on here with the rhodonite. So you have the love and the compassion, and then you have the grounding and balance, which I think is a really nice combination when it comes to a love stone, because sometimes when in love, sometimes those emotions can really take us places that we don't want to go, right? Where we don't mean to go, but it's just like, how'd I end up here? How'd this happen? So this is known, rhodonite is known as the rescue stone. So it's really good for forgiveness. And that is one of, I think, like in relationships, that's something that a lot of us need to work on is forgiveness. Forgiveness with yourself, forgiveness with others, because a lot of times when you don't work on that forgiveness, that's where you have the resentment. That's when you have the jealousy. That's when you have the anger. And that can be in like romantic relationships or friendships as well. And so this is a really good one to help rescue you from your own emotions and your own thoughts and opinions and actions that are not in your best interest when it comes to love. Rhodonite helps you release some of those toxic behaviors and emotions. And so this is a really good one if you're going through it with a loved one, whether it be a partner or a family member or a friend. If you guys are just going through some really tough times, this helps with compassion and understanding, and then works on you on a deeper level to help release some of those blockages that are blocking you from actually receiving love, right? So rhodonite is a really good one for that. And like I said, it's one of my favorites for going through tough times, like currently in a relationship. So for me, rose quartz, the first one, is just like a general love type of situation. And you can pair rose quartz with any of these that I'm going to speak about because it's so gentle. You can pair it with rhodonite. And but this, if you're going through something right now, get you some rhodonite. You can pop this under your pillow too and sleep with it. Test it out. I'm not sure. It's not as gentle as the rose quartz, so you just want to just see if it's a good match for you. With all of these crystals that I'm going to speak about today, I've slept with all of these under my pillow, and they are just absolutely a delight. Just a delight. So give it a try. Each of us are different, so you want to make sure you test it out on yourself. With rhodonite, just like with rose quartz, you can wear it in jewelry. I do have a bracelet somewhere. I have no idea where it is. This is a little disc that you could use like for a palm stone, worry stone. You can have this, pop this under your pillow, pop this in your pocket. We've got a wand here, and wand is just like an energy wand. You can do energy work. You have this kind of almost point here. It's almost coming to a point, and you can do energy work directing that rhodonite energy to yourself, to others. And so I have a few pieces of rhodonite in the shop. If you're interested, check it out. So that's rhodonite. Rhodonite. So next up is one of my favorites, and I'm trying not to be biased because I love crystals and I love them all. But pink opal. Pink opal. Oh my gosh, pink opal is beautiful. As you can see, it is a lot darker than rose quartz, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, because here we go. That's pink opal as well, right? Here we go. That's also pink opal, right? Pink opal. So you have so many different colors. You have a very, very light powdery pink to a much more intense pink, which is my favorite. I love these as like palm stones to carry. I love to sleep with these under my pillow. I'm going to actually get a pendant made out of a larger piece of this just to wear, because I feel like I said, with the love stones, you can never have too much love. So pink opal, also associated with the heart chakra. Of course, a love stone, because that's what we're talking about here. But this one really helps with enhancing your thoughtfulness, your consideration. So a lot of times we're so stuck in ourselves that we really don't see other people's points of view and other people's truths. And it's all about us. I feel pink opal helps with us being less self-absorbed and just more thoughtful, more considerate of our partners, of our friends, of our families, of people in general, right? Just more compassionate, thoughtful, and considerate in life. Pink opal, of course, helps with our compassion. It's really good if you have past wounds that are standing in the way of you being loving and being loved and receiving love and giving love. So past wounds from breakups, past wounds from trauma. Pink opal is a really good one to help you see beyond that, to clear up those blockages and really open you up to love. Because if you are on the frequency of love, you are love, you're going to receive love. You're there, right? You're in that frequency. So you're not going to not get it. But if you're not in the frequency of love, if you have blockages, if you don't have an open heart, it might be kind of hard for you to receive love. Also, if you're not loving yourself, if you're not giving yourself love, you're certainly not going to get it from somewhere else. You might be getting lust from somewhere else, right? You might be getting like from somewhere else, but are you going to really be getting love if you're not giving it to yourself? So pink opal really helps with opening up that heart chakra and releasing some of that toxic energy that's holding you back from love, from holding you back from being love, giving love, receiving love. Pink opal is really a great stone if you are going through a breakup, or you have just gone through a breakup. If you've lost a loved one, it can really help with the hurt that you feel from both, because if you think about it, a breakup, even though it's not as traumatic, obviously, as losing a loved one, it's kind of the same thing in the sense of our brains can't really tell the difference because you just lost your loved one, right? You broke up. So sometimes in our minds, we're like, I'm never going to see that person again, or I'm never going to be with that person again. I'm never going to speak to that person again. And that's a loss. That's a loss. It's the death of the relationship. So no, it's not as permanent as death, right? But it's the death of the relationship. So it's kind of in the same category, because especially if you're an emotional person and you feel and think very deeply, sometimes it can feel like a loss, right? So pink opal is really, really good for breakups and the loss of loved ones, the loss of love. So pink opal, of course, you can wear this in jewelry. Pink opal is a little more expensive than the other two I just spoke about, so it is a little pricier, but it's so worth it. It's to me a stronger yet still very gentle type of energy. I have palm stones in the shop like this. I have eggs, I have hearts, and I also have a love attraction set that has The first three crystals I just talked about. So you would get a piece, a tumbled small piece of rose quartz, a tumbled small piece of pink opal, and a tumbled small piece of rhodonite. And it's called the Love Attraction set. So check that out if you're interested in just having a little handy dandy set that you can pop in your pocket or pop in your purse. Next we have malachite. And I know you're like, wait a minute, I thought the love stones were pink. I thought they were all pink. No, some are green. And so the heart chakra, there are two colors associated with the heart chakra, and that is pink and that is green. And so I had to add malachite. So now malachite is a very versatile stone. So it's not necessarily known as a love stone per se, like a rose quartz. Like when you think of rose quartz, that's the first thing you think of, love stone. That is not one of the first things you think of with malachite. Malachite is a green crystal, so it's about transformation, it's about growth. But when it comes to love, you've got to be able to have that transformation and that growth energy in order to fully be love, give love, and receive love. And so I have to add malachite. I love malachite. Have to add it. Look at this beauty. Look at that. That's like a Kemetic Nasut king, or what they will call an Egyptian pharaoh, which they were not. That is not what they were. But look at that. Look at malachite. Malachite has these. Oh, now malachite is even more expensive than the others I mentioned, and so you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay if you want malachite, but it's such a beauty. Look at that. Malachite cleanses and clears all of the chakras, even though it is associated with the heart chakra. And then that's its primary chakra. Its secondary chakras are the throat and the solar plexus. So it works here in this area for clearing, but it clears all of the chakras. It's about transformation. It's about growth. Malachite is a protection crystal, a protection stone. So it helps absorb negative energy from the atmosphere, from your surroundings, and from you as well. So it'll help absorb that negative energy, those toxic feelings and emotions that we carry with ourselves that block love, right? That get in the way of us having an open heart, a receiving heart, because love is not just about receiving, right? But it's also about giving. So a giving heart, a receiving heart, just an open flowing channel in that heart chakra area and throughout the entire body. Just open and just open, right? Just open to giving, to receiving, and just having that emotional balance and not holding on to things that weigh us down and block our love blessings. Malachite helps strengthen your relationships, and so your relationships are really based on love and not lust and not need, right? A lot of times people are in relationships for lust, right? Feels real good, for need, because they're using someone else as an emotional crutch, as a physical crutch. And so this helps you really tap into what you need emotionally. What is it that you need on an emotional level from a relationship and from yourself? So you can give it to yourself, because a lot of times I think we go into relationships and we expect another person to fill us, right? To make us whole, to be our other half. Well, you don't need another half, you need another whole. You have to come in whole, and you're looking for someone else to come in whole. And so this helps you really figure out what you need and what you want on an emotional level from yourself and from a partner or from a friend, from your loved ones, period. And this one is a really good one for breakups, right? Because when you go through a breakup, you're processing a lot of information, and hopefully you are examining self, right? Hopefully you are not pointing the finger at the other person and blaming them for everything, because relationships are a two-way street, and what you have control over is you and what you've done and what you've said and your part that you played. And so malachite is a really good one for self-reflection on getting those lessons so you don't have to repeat them, right? Some of these lessons that we get in love, we do not want to repeat. Get it? So you don't have to repeat it. So this is a really good one for breakups, especially if it's a fresh breakup. But it doesn't have to be if you haven't dealt with the pain and the hurt and the loss and you haven't really examined it. You need to sit with some malachite. You really do. As with all the other crystals, you can wear malachite. You can have malachite in your decor. You can have a palm stone. You can sleep with this under your pillow. It's really nice under your pillow. You can put it in your pocket, pop it in your purse. Do not wet malachite. So when you cleanse malachite, don't wash it with water and sea salt and all of that. Just go ahead and smudge it and rub it, because you don't want to lose this beautiful sheen that it has. Also, if you do not have malachite in its polished, smooth form, it can be toxic. So don't deal with the other forms just because it's easier not to. Make sure you have a smooth, polished piece. Do not make an elixir out of this, okay? Do not do that. Right? We don't want to get it wet. We don't want to drink it. This can be very toxic. So just be careful with that. Like rose quartz is a wonderful one to make an elixir, any of the quartz, but not this one. Okay, so that's malachite. Last but not least is rhodochrosite. Now, for rhodochrosite to be one of my favorites, I do not have any to show you. I have a rhodochrosite bracelet that has very teeny beads. I can't find it. My mom made it for me. It did break, but I still have like the pieces of it. And sorry. So I'm going to insert several pictures right about now so you can see what it looks like, because it's this beautiful raspberry pink with white swirls. It is the most gorgeous stone. It is pricey. I do not have any in the shop because people do not want to pay for it. So it is a pricey crystal. It's more expensive than malachite. So it's the most expensive that I have of this 5 list. Like it really is, but it is so worth it. I'm going to get a couple of pieces for myself just because I feel like I might need it. So with crystals, I feel like they present themselves to you when you need them. And the very first time that I had rhodochrosite presented itself in my life, I needed it so bad. I had never even seen it or heard of it. We'll get back to that though. We'll get back to that. Let me tell you a little bit about rhodochrosite. Rhodochrosite is known as the stone of the compassionate heart. Isn't that nice? Isn't that just like a lovely title? If you were a crystal, if I was a crystal, I would want to be known as the stone of the compassionate heart. So it helps with compassion. It helps with self-love. Rhodochrosite is really good with depression. Like if you have had a breakup or if you've had some really tough times in love, it's really good with depression. It's really good with self-worth. A lot of times after a relationship is over or during or after a breakup, your self-worth can really be affected because you feel like you failed maybe, or what did I do? And rhodochrosite is so beautiful for working through that, for really getting down to the nitty-gritty of helping you realize that people are where they are, and the things that they do, the things that you do, the things that you do have nothing to do with anyone else, and the things they do have nothing to do with you. It is you and what you've gone through, and you really can't take things personal when it comes to relationships and breakups. I know that's easier said than done. Okay, I know I take things personal. I'm not saying I don't, but it's rhodochrosite helps you really get to a space of really understanding that everyone has their struggles and none of us are perfect and things happen. And it really helps you with that self-love that you need for you to know who you are. Rhodochrosite helps dissolve any emotional wounds, any hurt. It helps, of course, open up those blockages, clear those blockages in the heart chakra that are holding us back from love. It's a really good one for breakups, like I said. So I have a story. I told it in one of my other videos, but I had a really bad breakup with one of my first adult relationships. So it wasn't like my first love, not my first teenage love, but it was my first adult love. And we had a breakup, and I really was going through it, like really kind of depressed, really emotionally low and down, feeling my self-worth was like kind of dwindling just because the emotional toll that the relationship and the breakup took on me. And my mom makes jewelry, and she had made a rhodochrosite bracelet, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. I need that. So she gave that to me, and I'm telling you, this rhodochrosite really transformed me from the inside out. And I didn't even realize like why I was attracted to it at the time. I had never seen rhodochrosite. I didn't know anything about rhodochrosite. Really, I just knew rose quartz. Rose quartz, like everybody. And so I wore this bracelet for probably almost a year before it broke. And I'm telling you, me and rhodochrosite had a beautiful journey of self-exploration, of healing, right? Of building my self-worth back up, because a lot of times you can really go through some stuff during a breakup. You really start questioning your own self, as you should, but it should never affect your self-love and your self-worth. Yes, we want to be better people. We should always be evolving to be a better version of ourselves, but you also have to love where you are now. You have to love and be happy with you at this very moment while you strive to be better. And so rhodochrosite helped me with that. And so I always tell people, if you can get you some rhodochrosite, if you're willing to drop the money for the rhodochrosite, because I believe that rhodochrosite bracelet was something like, I think my mom was selling that bracelet for like $300, something like that. And it had beautiful gem quality, very small pieces of rhodochrosite with Swarovski crystals, and it was just beautiful. I'm gonna have her remake that for me. Beautiful. But so if you can get your hands on some rhodochrosite, I feel like rhodochrosite helps with love on all levels. So it helps with that self-love. It helps with love, looking for love, right? Finding love. It helps you while you're in the relationship. I should have got some sooner before that breakup. But if you didn't, it helps with breakups and really healing your heart and getting you back to where you need to be on that loving love frequency. So rhodochrosite, even though I try not to pick a favorite. If I had to pick a favorite, it's probably going to be rhodochrosite, just because I feel like it across the board helps with love in every stage that you're in. Every stage. Looking for it? Gotcha. Beginning of it? Gotcha. In the middle? Gotcha. Done? Over? Gotcha. Looking for some more? Gotcha. Right? Rhodochrosite is just the bomb. So those are my 5 top fave love crystals: rose quartz, rhodonite, pink opal, malachite, and rhodochrosite. Those are my absolute faves when it comes to love. And when I'm using the term love, even though I broke down some of what they're better for, it's just love in general. Love is love, right? So love, compassion, self-love, radiating that to others. Those are my top 5 favorites. Do you have any love crystals that I did not speak about? Drop them in the comments. Let us know what your favorites are and why. And if any of the ones I mentioned are your favorites, let us know and why. Okay? So, like, love, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. Zuzunatural. Peace out.